Podcast. It's time for the Pretty Neat Podcast.
You ever watch something when you're young? So this is 1996. Daniel Baldwin was in it.
This movie?
You ever watch anything when you were younger that you now look back and you're like, I was not emotionally ready for that? No?
The Land Before Time.
The Land Before. Okay. And the thing is, people think they come to the Pretty Neat Podcast for the MMA talk. No, it's for obscure Lifetime Melissa Joan Hart movies from the mid 90s that super fucked with me as a kid.
I don't think you're wrong.
There's like 5 scenes in this movie that I look back now and I'm like, whoa, what? Bro, what the fuck? You know? And I in the moment I had a hard time because I didn't know how to like process through it. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So anyway, she was in Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and Clarissa Explains It All.
I think she also, before Sabrina the Teenage Witch, I'm fairly certain that she was in an episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark?
She was.
Yeah.
1993. She played a
Yeah.
girl named Daphne.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a lot of breakouts on Are You Afraid of the Dark. Ryan Gosling
Yeah?
was in an Are You Afraid of the Dark? Nev Campbell of Scream fame.
Of course.
I want to say there was another one, but yeah, Ryan Gosling, I'm like 99% sure was in an episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark?
That seems logical. They did an episode of Sabrina called Sabrina Down Under. Sorry, it was a TV movie. That feels like one that could have also been porn.
I think you're right about that. And we're getting the
If you know what I'm
affirming,
saying.
we're getting the
If you know
affirming
what
nod.
I'm saying.
We're getting-
Sabrina Down Under.
Yeah, like Debbie Does Dallas.
Debbie did Dallas hard.
Debbie did Dallas.
Yeah.
Debbie does? No, Debbie did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now that you're here, Ryan, Dom was pointing out that we think people tune into the Pretty Neat Podcast for the MMA talk with us three, but it's actually the obscure movies that we were too young to process at the time.
Ryan, do you have a movie that you saw when you were younger that you look back now and you're like, I was not emotionally prepared for that?
So like in the context that watching it as a kid, you just had no realization of the depth of what was actually happening. Is that what you're saying?
Certain scenes, certain things that stuck with you for one reason or another, be they violent or sexual or called on some sort of trauma you faced, where you look back as an adult and you're like, whoa, I should not have been exposed to that. You're like Attack of the Clones was a lot like that for me for various reasons.
When you were 17.
Assaulted the senses. Yeah. Putting me on the spot, I really can't think of anything.
I understand it's not fair. We got on a very, very weird Melissa Joan Hart tangent.
So Melissa Joan Hart,
me.
She was on the list for a good period of time.
That's what I thought.
There you go.
Okay, there you go. All right, so we're all in agreement there. She was
not quite my type. Reason being, she looks a little bit like how my sister looked when we were that age.
That's fair.
So I was more in like
you don't have any pictures of your sister from that age, do you? No reason.
It's a fair to kind of stay off the list. Yeah, could you go ahead and share screen and we'll make final judgments on that?
Is it Wendy from Wonder Years?
Oh,
What was her-
Danica
What was
McKellar.
her?
Yeah, she was on the list for me. And then
Really?
Wendy
Topanga from-
Peppercorn from
Wendy
Sandlot.
Peppercorn? Oh, Sandlot. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't
Topanga
you
from Boy Meets
ever
World.
talk about Topanga from Boy Meets World on this show with me ever again.
So good or bad?
Why?
She might be number one all time.
She blew you
She's-
off, didn't she?
It just continued to escalate, you know, as
It
that
did.
show progressed.
It did.
And then they were in the college years. You're like, good God, man, this
That's Boy
he
Meets
really
Manhood.
is. Yeah, he really is the average man who had just knocked it out of the park because of fortunate relationships he developed as an adolescent.
I hate to be this guy, but I'm gonna be it. Okay.
Be it. It's your show.
And
It's your
she
show,
looks
Dom.
she looks great now.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays.
Yeah.
It's like she's 41. She looks great. However, there was a stretch where evidently she had been hitting the buffet a la Khabib Nurmagomedov. I'm talking they did an episode about it.
She Daniel Cormier.
They did an episode about it where Corey thinks she's pregnant, but really she's just fat. And
God damn.
How do you think that went over?
I don't know. However, there's some stretches where she just looks fantastic.
This is good to know. Well, welcome to the Pretty Neat Podcast, everyone.
Welcome to the Pretty Neat Podcast,
where we talk about UFC and other pretty neat things.
And you know the other girl from that show does porn now, like real hardcore porn. The girl that played Rachel.
I'm drawing a
I
blank
don't
on that
remember
one.
who that is.
From Boy Meets World?
Yeah, she was in maybe the last 2 seasons. Let's see, maybe the last 3. Rachel from Boy Meets World. Her actual name is Maitland Ward. Maitland Ward. She does
this is the news you tune in for.
Very, very hardcore stuff now, which is fine. She's a grown adult woman. She can do whatever she wants, but it is that.
Yeah. Only fans of Boy Meets World.
It's not OnlyFans. It's everywhere. And
not in Texas.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Not in Texas where pornography is illegal.
Wow, her filmography is extensive.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Wow.
That's rough.
A lot of things involving the hindquarters based on this filmography list that I'm perusing.
and a certain type of gentleman, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
You remember when we were gonna start the adult film spoof company Creamworks, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, we
had a pitch meeting and everything. It didn't go off.
No,
Get it?
Yeah, it never got off. We had like a bunch of like Leonardo DiCaprio was going to be an actor in it, and we were going to do Titanic. He was going to co-star with Johnny Depp in Who's Gilbert Grape Eating? Yes. I remember that was going to be for the Big Beautiful Women.
There was a Philip Seymour Hoffman one in there too.
Yeah, Philip Seymour.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Thank you.
Yeah,
man, did I lob that and you fucking caught it? Good work.
Yeah,
because I could not remember. The thing is, Ryan, we actually had at one point probably a documented list of these that would have gotten us fired, maybe.
Yeah, there was Tom Spanks. I remember he was like the dad type role.
Yeah.
Yep, and he was going to be in Toy Story, which didn't need a porn name.
Just a whole different story arc.
You didn't even have to change. Buzz's name either.
Yeah, no,
it's
Buzz, and Woody either.
And Woody either.
And so did Bullseye and Slinky.
Yeah, Bo Peep didn't have a chance.
Nope, Zurg was in it though, and I'll say this: the story was actually remarkably similar. Plot wise,
there was a little bit more quivering and shaking after things they made.
Only a little bit more though, not a lot more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and there was an animated component as well.
God. Well, I'm Aaron. Go to theprettyneatpodcast.com and hit the mailbag if you want to send in your porn movie spoof names. We'll read them on the show next week. Put them in the comments. That either. Man, I pre-made this show's cover art and named it. I hope you don't mind. I just messaged it to both of you
All right. I'm looking
because
forward to seeing it.
I think this is appropriate. Because UFC 100, of course, was just a couple days ago.
300.
Yes, 300.
I like it.
They fucking did it. They did
Yep.
it.
They did.
They fucking did it.
Should we talk about it?
You got Sean Shelby and Mick Maynard and Dana White looking down from the clouds. Their matchmaking beauty. Mm-hmm.
Now let's be honest, like some things had to happen, but the confluence of all those things actually happening
Mm-hmm.
is what made UFC 300 the best UFC event, top to bottom, right?
Ever.
Top to
Ever?
bottom.
Ever. Yes.
Ever.
Now,
Ever.
I was thinking about this.
We agree.
So I sat down at about 2:55, turned on Deiveson, Figueiredo, and Cody Garbrandt. I was very excited. I had a slight hiccup in the ESPN app buying the pay-per-view. It took 45 seconds longer than I thought it should, and I was very worried I was going to miss the start and probably entire Bo Nickal fight, which we're going to talk at length about. But it worked out. I should have just done it like after Holm, Kayla Harrison, didn't think about it.
Okay.
No,
I
they've been doing
actually-
quite a bit of preamble though, so I don't think you were necessarily in doubt of
But
seeing that fight.
I was personally worried.
Okay.
I loved
fair.
I loved the throwback intro. That was marvelous.
The throwback intro was good. The issue I had was it did the thing where it was like, do you want to confirm on a device or put in
Oh.
your password? But it was like that stupid Apple TV remote. So I was like, I'll confirm on a device. And I had an iPad and my phone next to me, and neither of them went off. So I don't know which device it went to. That's not really the point. Here's what I was thinking about though with UFC 300.
Yeah.
It had two like holy shit moments. But unless it didn't have it wasn't that every fight was just like a crazy
Sure.
can't miss fight, unless you're like a real MMA fan, in which case every fight except for maybe Andrade Marina Rodriguez, which was still a split decision, those are always interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Every fight had something for you as an MMA fan. It wasn't
Sure.
necessarily the casual fans card per se, if that makes sense, but I
Yeah.
think that as like real fans like we are, it's exactly what you want. I sat there from 2:55 until probably 10:30 when the final fight ended, just happy as a fucking clam.
Mm-hmm.
Happy it could not have wanted anything more. Maybe neglected my children a little bit, but you know what?
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's
My
fine.
my couch had been
I
begging
do
me for sweat
I do a
stains.
lot for them.
Oh.
I do a lot for those two. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, you're totally on it. Like before this card, if somebody was like, "Hey, I'm thinking about getting into UFC, which card should I watch?" I don't know if I could have picked one, like just to be like, "Go watch this one." Like
One card or
209,
one fight?
one
Oh,
card,
yeah.
one card.
Uh-huh.
Like go watch 209, go watch 278, go watch 229, whatever.
No, it would be
Now it's-
situational. What do you
now
want
it's
to
like,
see?
watch UFC 300.
Watch UFC.
You've got
300.
everything
You get
you
a little
need
bit of
right there.
everything. That's exactly
Mhm.
right. It's the present. It's a little bit of the past.
Yeah.
It's also the present, and it's definitely the future as far as the fighters go.
Yeah, and yeah, in a lot of ways, yeah. Yeah. I think we just got to go top to bottom on this. But like
I think
Ryan,
so. I think bottom to top.
bottom to top, yeah. But Ryan,
Yeah.
did you have like any like overalls besides what we were just saying?
It delivered, right?
Yeah.
To just kind of cement the point.
Mhm.
I basically scheduled my whole day around being able to watch every single fight.
Yep.
And normally I want to watch all the fights. However, if things get in the way or things come up, I'm okay. I'll watch the
Mhm.
main card, and there are times where I'm like, I'm not interested at all. But that day, I scheduled everything around being able to watch every single fight, told my wife, hey, it's a big fight night, so we're gonna need the main TV for this one. I'm not gonna be watching it on a second screen. She's like, when does it start? 3. She's like, oh shit. Yeah, that's right. Let's get everything out of the let's get everything done and out of the way before that time.
That's exactly what we did. I just told my wife it's a Super Bowl. I said it's a Super Bowl for fighting. And she was like, oh,
Super Bowl.
Okay, cool. We'll go to Costco and you hang out and then we'll come home. I'm like, all right, perfect.
Yeah. But hey, well, another takeaway, which may or may not be the card itself, which I just agree with both of you on everything. Couple of good fights were announced as well.
Yeah.
Chandler, McGregor, that's going to be a fight.
that right now is going to be a fight
today.
Right? Well, today it is a fight.
They announced it for 170 pounds as well, so it's not going to be for a new belt.
That's
unfortunate.
A mistake.
That is a mistake. Dom was onto something. I'm not sure why the UFC is not really picking that up.
Yeah, and even when Max Griffin was on the show, he talked about how he'd heard the rumblings of the 165 division.
I wonder if do you think
doing it for Conor?
Yeah, I wonder if it's like a contract thing. Like, I don't think the UFC, are they like, well, we don't want to pay out whatever amount of pay-per-view points, or I don't know, because I don't know what their sort of foundational hesitation to adding a belt and really making the weight classes make sense would be.
I don't know.
More champions is better.
Yeah.
Because it's not like, oh, we have, as much as I enjoyed it, like the NBA in-season tournament, right? They're kind of, I talked about that when it happened in December. They're kind of trying to globalize the game like soccer does, which I get. And in soccer, if you win the Carabao Cup, it's a big deal, but it's a bigger deal to win the Champions League and a slightly less big deal to win whatever league you play in's cup. But you still want to win as many of them as you can. Because the UFC is an individual sport, why not have a belt every 10 pounds?
Yeah.
I don't
know. All the rationale seems like complete bullshit and just excuses. Like, you have tired rationale of like, it would dilute the sport. No, it fucking wouldn't. It would actually make it more dynamic because you would have even more compelling arguments against people that could do super fights between divisions, hypothetically. You already have the UFC, which is, their model right now is fucking grow their roster as much as possible so you can have an event.
Oh no, did we lose you?
Excluded. Why not have another division where people can?
No, I've got him.
You can ration out, I guess, UFC pay-per-view events where you definitely have at least one title on the line every single time.
I'm for that. I support all of this.
It's weird to me the International Fight Week seems, because Conor's not fighting unless he's the headliner, right?
Yeah.
So it's weird to me to have International Fight Week not be for a title. It seems like, and we'd have to go back and look, definitely last year there was one main pay-per-view that wasn't for a title. But
I mean,
what was that, 285, the Hamzat, Nate Diaz, Kevin Holland,
Hamzat, Nate Diaz.
Bullshit.
They've definitely they did the Nate Diaz Masvidal fight for the BMF, which was a main event, which was non-title.
But the thing is, they
Garden.
made up a belt for that.
They did.
So
true.
So I think you've got to figure out. I just don't understand how that can be not for a belt, unless they're trying to do some sort of weird shit where they strip Leon because he hasn't defended it, and then they just say Conor and Chandler are fighting for the 170, which would be the most UFC thing of all time, and I'd fucking love it. And by default, Aaron would have to love it because it would be for an interim belt.
I would. I don't know if you saw this. I don't know.
He's like, I'm obligated to love this.
He's like, God damn.
In Vegas, Joaquin Butley was putting missing flyers all over Vegas with Leon Edwards on it.
I like it.
Yeah.
So what is his? Yeah, maybe we can talk about Leon Edwards next week, because let's be real. The only problem with UFC 300 is, well, did you see Bilal at 300 where he held up his phone and he had 301, 302, 303, 304, and 305 on it? The only problem 300 had is that it took every good fight from the next like 5 cards and put him on this one.
Yeah, although I love the
But
rumor.
it's worth it. Worth it.
I love the rumor of Alex Pereira coming in for 301 so he can fight in Brazil because he wants to fight in Brazil.
I don't think it's
in like
gonna
3
happen.
weeks, and he took no damage. I don't either, and if it did, it would be probably Tom Aspinall.
I want to talk at length about Alex Pereira, but
yeah, we will.
But we got to start.
Other announcements: Islam Makhachev versus Dustin Poirier.
That's a weird one.
That's a weird one.
It's a weird one.
Sean Strickland is going to fight Paulo Costa on the same
also
card.
Kind of a weird one.
Yeah. A little under the radar and actually might have been announced earlier, but Fluffy is going to fight on that card, Anthony Hernandez against Roman Dolidze. So
interesting.
That's a fun
we were
fight.
talking about Anthony Hernandez potentially fighting Bo Nickal. Were we talking about that?
We were saying that'd be a fun test.
And that would be a good test.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. He totally did.
Yeah. We'll get to Bo.
Yeah. All right. So I guess we're going bottom to top. Just like that one actress from the show you were talking about who does a lot of porn. Okay, that callback didn't work.
She goes bottomed out is her deal.
Okay. Deiveson Figueiredo defeated Cody Garbrandt.
Yeah.
All right. So Cody looked good in the first round, right? Does everybody have the same sentiment?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep.
But I don't know what happened after that. He could have kept the same game plan, applied the same amount of pressure. But man, Deiveson at 36 at 135, still pretty compelling. I was.
Yeah.
Who do they give him now? Right? He's beating Rob Font. He's beating Cody Garbrandt.
Well, he says he wants to fight for a title. That makes no sense. And do you
get in line.
What Sean O'Malley does to him?
Get in line, and you're gonna need.
What are we even talking about?
4 fights before that's even in the consideration.
He's got Merab Sandhagen, probably Petr Yan in front of him. Not Cejudo, and not Chito Vera. Those are the guys that are ranked in front of him. So, I think Yan or Sandhagen is fun for him.
I think that's a great
Yan
call.
is interesting. I think Sandhagen fucking demolishes him.
I agree. Sandhagen's just massive for the division.
Yeah.
Fair.
I thought Cody looked okay. I just don't know what he is, unfortunately.
He doesn't know what he is.
No, you're right.
No, he doesn't know what he is. He's not decisive. That's probably the biggest thing that's detracting from him and being able to be what we have known of him.
You remember Vince Carter?
Yeah, basketball player.
Yeah. So Vince Carter like quietly had a 21 year NBA career that was like really, really good. And Aaron, Vince Carter, without question, both the best dunker and best in-game dunker of all time. He jumped over a 7'1" French man in the Olympics. And I mean, the man was standing upright and Vince Carter jumped over him to dunk the ball.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of his career, he kind of turned into a 3-point shooter and like kind of a sneaky, effective one.
Yeah, he did.
Cody is outside of the slam dunk part of his career, and he needs to figure out what his 3-point shot is.
He needs to turn into a Dominic Cruz.
It could be wrestling. It could be, point fighting. I don't know what it is, but it's not whatever he's trying to do.
Okay.
I suppose the good news in this fight is that he didn't take like crazy damage, which he had.
Yeah, he didn't get put unconscious like many other people did that night.
There you go.
And I can't wait to talk about some of them.
He just got submitted. He almost got put unconscious, but he tapped.
Also, the UFC men's pound for pound rankings are a fucking travesty.
Well, the rankings in general
They're
are a travesty.
Absolute joke is what they are. And we're going to talk about why later.
Okay.
The next fight on this card, Jim Miller and Bobby Green. Aaron, go.
Jim Miller got his ass handed to him
Real
on
bad.
Sure
a
did.
plate, although I'm kind of shook that he survived like at all. I can't believe it went to decision.
186 significant strikes per the UFC landed by Bobby Green
That's insane.
in 15 minutes.
Yeah, I don't like it. And I want to watch Bobby Green fight Paddy Pimblett.
Yes. Who
I wanna-
wins?
Bobby Green.
What? Bobby Green, come on.
That Bobby Green wins.
Yeah.
And I want to see
Yeah.
it. And Jim Miller can do whatever he wants. He can retire. He can do whatever he wants.
Jim Miller should get a job working for the UFC.
That'd be cool.
Or I don't think
Performance
he's
Center?
a big enough name to open up Jim Miller's MMA. He seems like
No.
he'd probably be a pretty decent like fight maker.
I'm not
Jim
gonna
Miller has
disagree
like
with that. Like working with Sean Shelby.
There's
and
got to
making
be
a trainer.
something he could do for them.
Well, I think the UFC sells a lot of the gym franchises to fighters because it's easy for them to promote and sort of manage.
Yeah.
Like I know that the UFC gym near you guys in Murrieta was owned by one or two different fighters. So we may give him a UFC gym or something like that. He probably has his own gym.
He probably does.
His name is Jim.
Jim fucking Miller. Just to cement that though, like Bobby Green, he landed 3 times as many significant strikes. He also threw twice as many significant strikes. He was landing at almost a 60% clip against Jim Miller's 39%. And the only person who got a takedown or credited was a takedown was Bobby Green and not Jim Miller. So when you do that and you give up a huge speed advantage, as Jim Miller was doing against Bobby Green, it doesn't end up in your favor more often than not. And Bobby Green was just headhunting, like 89% of his significant strikes.
Yep.
At distance, 73% to the head.
Bobby, he had to hit that
fuck.
cut. Those cuts on Miller's eyes or his eye, just both
Yeah.
sides. Just
Yeah. Bobby Green is a guy that if I was even Dustin Poirier, I'm not like, oh yeah, give me Bobby Green.
No, you're like
Just 'cause-
no, I'll take Benoit Saint Denis, just not Bobby Green.
Bobby Green doesn't seem like the type of guy who knows he's supposed to lose the fight against a guy like Dustin Poirier. You know what I mean?
He's game. Like he fought
so
Jalin
game.
Turner. He fought Islam Makhachev on extremely short notice, and of course it went how we expected. But that just kind of underscores he's just game.
He's the Jimmy Butler of the UFC. Would you agree, Ryan?
Yeah, not super flashy. Not super flashy.
Not
does
ever gonna
things
be
very
champ.
well.
Not ever gonna be champ.
Oh Jesus! Didn't they just win? Did they not?
No, they
when
lost.
play-
They lost.
They
to
lost.
Philly.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you see the Team USA roster?
I heard some of the announcements, but
Dude,
it's
it's not just are they
Steph,
going to win gold.
LeBron, Joel
They need to win every
Embiid.
game by 35 points. Tyrese
Well, that's the
Halliburton,
thing, like-
Kawhi Leonard, Anthony Davis, Devin Booker. I mean, it just Anthony Edwards. It just goes on and on, man.
They're extremely talented, more talented than any other team that or country that'll be competing at the Summer Olympics. But
Steph
do
Curry.
they get
Don't
fucked
you say
because
to
they're
me,
not?
Can they play as a team? Don't you say that to me.
But can they play as a team, Dom?
I'm angry, and I don't like when you say that. We're going to talk about the Olympics at length on this show. We've never done this show while the Olympics
we're 3
are
months
happening.
away.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm stoked.
I know enough about both of you to know that the Olympics are things we respect and enjoy. So we're going to talk about them at length, just so you both
Hell
know.
yeah.
Heck yeah.
And we can talk fucking badminton. We can talk track and field. We can talk
We're
swimming,
going to. We're going to do
Archery.
swimming, relay
archery,
teams.
swimming. We're talking all of it.
Weightlifting.
What's the
everything.
thing in
Yes,
the Winter
judo.
Olympics where judo for
Wrestling,
sure.
boxing.
Yes.
Everything.
All of this is happening. We're talking about all this.
Mm-hmm. So tune into
curling
the
is what you were talking about, Dom.
No.
in the Winter
The one
Olympics.
where they ski down the mountain and shoot.
Oh, the biathlon.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Winter Olympics, I know, but I'm also excited for that.
That's who fucking thinks of that, one, and then two, like the more you
people-
do actually think about it, you're like, oh, good God,
What?
they're really exerting themselves
Yeah.
cardiovascularly, and then they have to calm
Yeah.
themselves to be able to shoot targets in rapid succession, and they're timed.
Against-
And yes, it's
yeah,
mostly
yeah.
dominated by people
and it's
from
freezing cold.
Scandinavia.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't wait. Jessica Andrade. Marina
Probably the worst fight
Rodriguez.
on the card.
I disagree. I think there's one
Okay.
that was more
Okay.
of a snoozer than this.
All right.
But hey, like you said, went to split, compelling fight.
It's a fair argument that there's a worse one.
Is Marina awesome? Is Jessica Andrade still awesome? You know,
I don't think either of those things are yes.
there you go.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And the more I look at it, and
You got to
I'm
look
gonna
at
give
it
a-
first.
when I started looking at the stats,
You got to look at it. You looked at it.
Did you look
I
at
looked
it?
at the stats.
Yeah, you looked
Did
at
you
it.
go under?
No, Jessica, did I go under? On what? The stats?
Yes.
I'm gonna take the under.
Would you
on
get
the
a look
stat.
at that? Would you get a look at that?
Just get a look at it.
We look at these stats.
You got to look at it first.
Jessica Andrade, she landed more significant strikes,
Yep.
Yes, she did.
and she landed at a higher clip, and she got a takedown, and she had a lot more control.
What do you mean a higher clip?
She
Uh,
landed at a higher clip.
Yeah.
Meaning
Her
her
significant
volume?
strike percentage.
No, her significant strike percentage was lower, according to the UFC's website. Marina Rodriguez was 82 of 94, and Andrade was 89 of 124.
What was the
So I'm
strike
looking at
differential?
significant strikes was 89 of 180 total strikes landed.
UFC has
So-
124 total strikes for Andrade.
You should the UFC website is not great. I think we all could agree to
All
that.
right,
But
okay.
UFCstats.com is
Ooh.
pretty good.
Is that a free shout out?
It is now. Yes.
Okay. All right, I'll take your word for it.
unless we edit that out, in
Nah, I
post.
don't.
Honestly, the Bobby Green number feels wrong.
Yeah.
186 out of 187. So let's go with UFCstats.com.
Yeah. I'm for it. There was that fight. Then Jalin Turner and
Well, hang on.
Renato Moicano.
What does it mean for either of them, realistically?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Not a damn thing.
That's
I-
really the problem with this fight,
Yeah.
right? Tatiana beats both of them.
Yeah.
I think Tatiana would still get hypothetically, depending on what their current situation is, she would probably get the next title shot, and she hasn't fought.
Yes.
I'm
yes.
pretty sure she's going to. Because fuck Juliana Pena. Like,
I'm-
who gives a
Well,
shit?
Juliana Pena.
How
is
literally do you
135.
mean that? What?
No, like,
Yeah.
well, I think that they're gonna have Tatiana fight Zhang Weili next. That's what I think.
That's what he's saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
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 Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Juliana Pena is a different class. I don't think
Juliana Pena, so that's 135, and Raquel Pennington is kind of giving me the feeling that she's already trying to duck
Kayla. Yeah.
our lady,
hey,
duck our
hey.
girl.
No,
Hey.
get Kayla in there as soon
Hey.
as possible.
Hey,
Kayla doesn't
Hey.
need any other
they're
warm-ups.
all ducking Kayla.
If
Okay.
Juliana
No, yeah,
Pena,
that's true.
that's what I'm thinking about. Is like if Juliana Pena throws a shit fit that she's not getting the next title shot, fine. Let her get destroyed by a Kayla for a top contender seat.
Hey, look at Ryan. Look at my glass. Do you see that? No. Oh shit. Come on. Well.
Wow.
Put it by your
Ah.
face
Ah. Hey,
you
there
go.
it is. No, you can't see it.
Good.
for a
Food
second.
Whatever.
Food and
It's
wine?
food and wine. Yeah, it's food and wine.
Yeah,
and-
we went back yesterday.
How was it?
It was good. It was good. Good times.
We cleared
Mhm.
out 2 sip and savers.
We did through the course of a couple of trips, but yeah, went back, got another chili Riano empanada.
Yep.
It's
Mhm.
fantastic. Had to go back for another stone ruination, and then we had an Oga's reservation.
They had
In the
Pliny
afternoon.
the Elder. Did you see that? Or no, Blind Pig.
At California Brews, yes.
Not a bad pull, California.
No,
Adventure, not a
no,
bad pull.
no. I'm not hating on anything really that DCA is doing with their food and
Yeah.
wine. They're
No, they
on
did a
point.
good job. They did a good job. All right.
Renato Moicano, Jalin Turner,
This one
what
sucked.
could have been. what
This
could
was
have been.
disappointing.
Poor Jalin.
Well, so do we all think that Jalin was trying to do the walk-off for a potential 300K bonus that
Yep.
ended up biting him in the ass?
Yep.
What a shame.
Yep.
What a shame.
What a shame.
Yeah.
Don't stop it till the ref pulls you off, Jalin. That's all.
What?
That's all that needs to be said. And Moicano was not asleep. He was not asleep. He was still moving. So you don't stop if he's moving.
And it was Herb Dean.
And it was Herb Dean. So yeah,
You got to know that.
Know your audience.
You have to know.
yeah, he's 13
Know your
feet
audience.
away. He's not going to be there to stop
That's a 46-minute walk for him. You got a lot of work to do in the interim, you know.
Yes. Yes. Oilers just scored. Draisaitl. By the way. Okay, then we move up. Sodiq, Yusuff, Diego Lopes.
So what does this mean for Jalin Turner?
Nothing for him. And
He's still young.
Yeah,
he's still young.
He's not that young.
Comparatively.
He loses 2 spots in the rankings.
So he's 29. He'll be 30 next year.
That's not that young.
Who do you give to Moicano? Oh, that didn't go in. Never mind. I stand corrected.
Give Moicano Gamrot or Dariush.
Okay, good call.
Dariush, I like that.
I like the Dariush. That would be a good back and forth. Moicano is on a roll. Like, granted, we all know that had Jalin just exercised a little bit more discipline, then it would have been a loss. But other than that, he's on a roll. And he's really charismatic. So that's in his favor as well. Not that that helps him win his fight.
Yeah.
Renato.
Yeah, do you know what he loves?
Free
Economics.
He loves the First Amendment.
Yeah.
He loves economics. Also, he's been on 2 podcasts now. I think he was on Anakin Florian and then the Michael Bisping show to talk about economics.
Oh, you know what podcast he's
macro
not
or
be
micro?
Joe Rogan?
He talked about you're right.
This one. He's not going to be on this one. Or
he-
Joe Rogan. Oh yeah, can we just talk about that? Can we just talk about that? UFC fighters, stop asking him to go on his podcast. Stop doing that.
Yeah.
Hey, if I win something, I'm gonna say like, "Hey, Joe Rogan, let me get me on the pod."
Are you though?
Get me on the. No, I'm not.
I was gonna say, I feel like I know you well enough to know that's just not how you operate.
If I win,
I'll be like, "Thank you very much."
if I win a be on the Joe Rogan podcast contest, then I will ask him if I can go on.
I had a
on the
dream
podcast.
one time, and this is a true story, that someone had gotten our show to him, and he asked all 3 of us to be on to talk MMA with him.
That would be amazing.
I had that dream, and we would for sure do that.
That would be his highest downloaded show.
But it would,
without a doubt.
We would never ask like that. It's
No.
just not what would happen.
No,
Because you're for sure not going to get it. Everyone I've ever heard talk about him, they're like, you definitely don't get on by asking to be on.
Yeah. No, he just.
And it's always guys that are like, dude, what's he going to have Renato Moicano on to talk about? That's 10 minutes.
Yeah, and you're not gonna be able to understand him 3/4 of the time. So
Yeah.
His accent's not that bad.
No, it's not that bad. But
I guess
there's
it
just a
depends on
lack
how
of
much he
stuff to
drinks.
talk
But
about.
Renato does have a podcast because he trains in the same gym with Gilbert Burns. And they have a podcast called the Show Me the Money podcast. Can you imagine those 2 Portuguese
my.
accents
going
going back and forth?
Sure.
That's pretty
but
great.
like, yeah, Jalin Turner has now lost 3 of his last 4 fights.
Yeah.
So he
Hey,
he does have to take a step back.
you
We
gotta
see
take a
this in sports, though, man. Go ahead, Aaron. I'm sorry.
Yeah, some yips, a little bit of the yips, but maybe he should go be a champ in the PFL.
We
Get a
see this
cool
in
million.
sports
Yeah.
where guys with a lot of potential just can't figure it out at the highest level. He's starting to look a little bit like that for me.
I get that.
Yeah, like the moment's getting away from him because
A
his
little bit.
losses, right? Mateusz Gamrot, really good. Dan
Yeah.
Hooker, that was
Sometimes.
split decision. So the Mateos and the Dan Hooker were
Mhm.
both split decision losses.
Mhm.
Then he knocks out Bobby Green in the first round. And then he gets TKO'd in the second round by Renato because of a lapse in judgment. Let's be candid. So yeah, he should take some time, work on his game. continue to work on his grappling, and then come back and probably fight somebody in the bottom half of the top 10. Maybe
the margins are just too thin. You can't have that lapse in judgment.
No.
Nope. You can't. You're not a
Like,
UFC 300.
I get it on like what the intent was, but you have to understand, like, in hindsight, it's extremely short-sighted.
The thing is, and I'm gonna connect this to the Pereira Jamahal Hill fight. Pereira he took a groin kick, and we're gonna talk at length about it.
Yeah.
He had the presence of mind to read the moment and wave the referee off.
Yeah. Let me cook. Let me cook.
Jalin
He
Turner,
was in good position.
Jalin Turner thought he had the walk off. That's
Alex Pereira didn't stop, and he
that's
had
the
the
gap.
walk off.
That's the gap. And I don't know how much of that can be taught, because you don't need to go back and tell him.
Yep.
He has to just know.
Yep.
Closing out, what an early prelims.
Yes.
Insane.
My goodness. My goodness. We don't have a single fight on any of the upcoming cards that are as good as any of these.
No, probably not. And then opening the regular prelims,
So,
Sodiq Yusuff, Diego
Aaron,
Lopes.
you nailed this. You were the only one.
Nailed this
Ryan
one.
and I
You
were so on
were
Sodiq.
you were so right.
Yeah.
Yep. You punch Diego, he gets going, he doesn't stop, and you're done. It's over.
He needs
The
to
uppercuts, though. Like,
calm down
uppercuts.
on that goofy fucking hair. That's my
I like the
issue.
hair. Why not?
No, I don't
Roll
like
with
it.
it. Nobody else has it.
Well,
But
maybe
I
there's
like.
a reason for that.
So Diego, did he take Sadiq's spot in the rankings? Is he 13, 14, 12
He
now?
is.
You have that up?
I do.
Because Sadiq was 13.
Are they 55 or 70?
They are 45.
no, they're 45.
45. Holy shit. Diego is 14th now.
Okay,
Sadiq is 15.
that makes sense.
Then Danige, Edson Barbosa, Bryce Mitchell, and Giga Chikadze.
Oh man, I would love to watch Diego Lopes fight Danige. I mean, I know they're right there, but that'd be a
good fight.
That'd be a good.
That's
fight.
a fun fight night headliner for sure.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
and I think that's
Or Edson.
Or Edson. Yeah, and I think either of those is a headliner for a fight night. That headlines
yes.
a fight.
I like Ige better than Edson, but I'm with you. Edson works too.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Now, Kayla.
Do you guys want to say it, or should I?
She's the greatest female fighter to ever join the UFC.
Is that what you were saying?
I don't know. Is that what you're going to say?
Sure feels that way.
She's not. We don't think that she's going to get beaten by anybody that's currently on the UFC roster.
She is exactly what we thought she is.
She is. Yep. There you go. That's the way to put it.
It's not that she beat Holly Holm.
She destroyed Holly Holm.
It was not for even 1 second in doubt what was going to happen in that fight, other than is she going to ground and pound her or submit her? Holly made the inexplicable decision to try to grapple with her, which no woman on earth should try to do.
Nope.
Correct.
And
no man.
Well, don't say no man.
No man under the weight of 155.
No. Do you understand what Justin Gaethje does to her? Exactly.
Good call.
You understand what Alexander Volkanovski or fucking Aljamain Sterling, who we're also going to talk about, does to her? Okay, that's not the point.
Fair.
You guys have to understand this. We talked about judo. Kayla competed in the Olympics in judo at 171 pounds. She's fucking huge. Yep. It is not if, it's when. I don't know that her run will be as long as Amanda's, because I think the weight cut is tough for her. But I do think she will be one of the most convincing champions, full stop, we've had in a very long time. I have been a Kayla fan since like day 6 on this show. And
it's true.
Which was 15 years ago.
Which was 15 years ago this week. That's right. I'm biased, but I mean, you guys talked me off this ledge. What question didn't she answer?
I'm sorry, but you're gonna have.
I don't know if there's anything left unsaid.
You're gonna have to live on that ledge. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Start building.
So, one thing I don't think any of us said that I didn't realize until they mentioned it on the broadcast is that she wasn't allowed to throw elbows in the PFL.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
For a grappler of her caliber,
Huge.
who has dominant position, right? Somebody can try and grab you with 2 overhooks and control your arms, but you always have that shoulder motion coming in to throw elbows, which watching her do that in that fight, I was like,
Terrifying.
oh my God.
Terrifying.
She's going to break
Hellbows.
Holly's face.
She has hellbows.
Literal hellbows.
Yep. They
So then I
rain
started
down
thinking
on you like fire.
I started thinking about, what we said on the preview of 300, that I had mentioned what Holly has done in her last few fights has been more grappling centric, and Dom alluded to it. Why do you try to take a 2-time Olympic judo champion to the ground? Why would you do that?
Judo is not. Sorry, Aaron, go ahead.
If you're studying the same lapses in judgment as Jalin Turner.
But it's Holly Holm.
Hypothetically.
It's Holly Holm. Her pedigree fighting is way fucking higher than Jalin Turner.
Yeah, this is true. So maybe this is a little bit of CTE.
The thing is,
she's been at Jackson Wink, so we know that her decision making and her training is second to none.
Sure. Yeah.
She's also been boxing for the last 25 years.
Fucking Holly Holm. You only stay on the edges and try to point fight her.
Yeah, so you don't take people down.
It's silly.
Pure silly.
Judo. Okay, so like, I could catch some heat for this. I'll take it. Some martial arts are fake. Okay. Krav Maga, miss me with that. Karate, no thank you.
Kung Fu,
no, I don't think so.
Taekwondo,
I'll pass. Judo is not fake.
No.
Judo is, can I control you with my body and throw you against your will? Why on earth would you clinch with the best woman who's ever done it? Oh, and by the way, she's 22.5 pounds heavier than you right now and did this at a world-class level at fucking 40 pounds heavier. Why?
There's no answer. This is a rhetorical question.
The only thing I can think is that Holly just knew there's nothing she can do. And she's not going to turn down a fight because she's not a punk, but nobody is like, oh yeah, I'll take Kayla. I don't give a fuck what Juliana Pena says. Raquel Pennington, Ketlin Vieira, Myra Bueno Silva are the 4 in front of her. It's a weak time for the division, maybe, but it's just a matter of time. It's if, it's not when. This is Kayla Harrison's division until Amanda decides I'm gonna come back, and even then, I think Amanda's watching that going, nah.
Cyborg.
Also,
Cyborg
I trained with her, so
fighter.
Nah. But you know what? That would be the one that would worry me for Kayla.
Cyborg?
A little bit.
Nah.
Kayla
because
still
of her
beats her.
physicality.
Kayla still beats her, but Cyborg is the one that's big enough to give her a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, I don't dispute that. I think Amanda could, if she could maintain distance, could put Kayla out.
At the right time. She put out Cyborg.
Striking wise, no fucking question.
Yeah. It's just
but
that could happen.
Can you strike with her? She's exactly what we thought she was.
She's exactly what we thought she was.
Yeah. She's really heavy on the Jesus in her post-fight interview.
I was okay
real heavy
with it
on the
because
Jesus.
that's her. And she came across, I think, Aaron, you mentioned your significant other, your better half was like, oh, she's a good winner. We need some good winners.
Yeah. Be her, go for it.
All class for Holly Holm. She talked about her being a legend, which she is.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. And yeah, I thought that was good. There we go. And you know who else is who we thought they were? Aljamain Sterling.
So I don't understand how he doesn't have a performance of the night bonus. I really don't.
Because his fight was boring. That's
not
why.
If you actually like MMA though.
If you like wrestling, it wasn't boring.
This is like saying watching a pitcher throw 8 innings of 2-hit, 13 strikeout baseball is boring. No, it's not. Not if you like baseball.
Boring if you don't care about pitching.
If you don't care about pitching, then you're not a baseball fan. This is like watching a goalie stop 36 shots and help his team win 1 or 2 to nothing.
Sure, and
that's not boring.
It was one-sided boredom. Like
You were bored by this fight?
I was absolutely bored to death by this fight.
Ryan, where are you at? Help me.
Totally bored.
So it was thorough domination, and I think Aljo was conservative, and I'm not sure if that's just new fight in a weight class, but he attempted 13 takedowns and got 8 of them. Like,
that's good.
Calvin Kattar, who had displayed, I would say, an above average takedown defense prior to this,
coming up in weight, mind you,
no match, and like the control time was just ridiculous. Over 10 minutes of control time in a 3-round fight, mind you. When he got it to the ground, though, I don't know what the root cause of this is. Just his seemingly reluctance to advance his position is, I think, where I side with Aaron on, like, man, that's a missed opportunity.
He took him down. He's going to hold him there. He's not going to submit him. He's not going to ground and pound him out.
Okay, so like,
just control. Kayla took down Holly and put her away. Bo Nickal took down Cody, put him away. Was constantly trying. Arman Tsarukyan took down Charles Oliveira, and Charles Oliveira tried to put him away. Aljamain Sterling took him down and held him there. It was boring.
He held him. Well, what does UFC stats have for total strikes for Kattar?
19.
19 total strikes, 8 significant strikes.
So that's exactly what UFC.com has. He held him to 19 strikes in 15 minutes.
And this is Kattar's fault too. If anything, it's more Kattar's fault than Aljamain's. It was
I just feel like
he didn't pull the trigger enough.
I just feel like with the minimal amount of grappling I've done in my life, I have a lot of respect for what Aljamain did.
100%.
I have respect for what he did. And he's definitely an interesting addition to featherweight.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Who in the division stops him from doing that to them?
That's a good question, because I think
I'm sorry to cut you off. Let me backtrack.
Diego Lopes.
I was enjoying my red wine. Actually, I started with IPAs. Shout out Pizza Port. And speaking of, for Mother's Day, Stone Brewing Company, shout out, is doing like a Mother's Day buffet lunch, and my wife loves Stone, and they emailed it, and I'm like, hey, we should do this. And she's like, buy the tickets right now. So I'm very excited for that.
Nice.
I was watching that fight, and the thing I was thinking, not that I was bored, is why didn't he do this to Sean O'Malley? I don't know if that says a lot about how good Sean O'Malley is. So when I say, oh yeah, how could he would do that to Volk or to Ilya or to Max Holloway or Brian Ortega or whoever, maybe he wouldn't. Maybe it tells us more about Calvin Kattar than it does about anybody else.
It could.
I thought about that while I was sipping my red wine.
There you go.
Now, you guys don't know anything about Italian red wines.
I know they're from Italy.
If you'd like to learn, we can have that conversation.
We should.
I don't know. You know what? You guys know what I'm saying, though? Like, why? Maybe Calvin Kattar is just not that good. I don't know.
It could be. I can see us having an argument to say, really, well, how good is Calvin Kattar?
What's his best win? He's most known for the Max fight that he lost, right?
Well, that was utter domination.
So his best win is probably
recently. His best win is he beat Giga Chikadze.
Yeah, Dan Ige, 2020.
Dan Ige. Jeremy Stevens is not. I mean, in hindsight,
and 2020 was 4 years ago. That's not really too recent.
Yeah.
So it's
Shane Burgos, Andre Fili.
I'm upset we're spending this much time talking about how bad Kattar is.
Calvin Kattar maybe isn't that good.
So no, but it's a valid argument. So I think we're at the realization now. It's like, is Calvin Kattar actually just mediocre?
Like, is he
Yes.
really
in
a
relative
top 10
terms to the
competitor?
UFC.
Mhm.
So I have the next fight for Calvin.
What is it?
It's Bryce Mitchell.
Is Bryce Mitchell going to fight again?
I'm assuming.
I would like to see Aljo fight Bryce Mitchell.
I don't want Bryce Mitchell to ever fight again. But
after a seizure-inducing punch. You know what? I would love to see Aljamain fight Josh Emmett, for that matter.
Let's climb the ladder quickly, not officially. Does he beat Josh Emmett? I think yes.
I don't know.
Does he beat Arnold Allen?
I think yes.
Does he beat Arnold Allen?
I don't know.
I think yes. Does he beat Evelev?
Masvidal?
No.
Yeah.
No.
I think probably.
Evloev takes that to decision and wins.
He takes everybody to decision.
Does he beat Yair?
Yes.
No.
See, I think no for Yair. I think that's where it gets interesting. Ortega, Holloway, Volk, and Topuria, that's where it gets real interesting. I think I like Aljo in featherweight, though. I think it makes it a little more compelling.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm for it. I'm for him being there. All right. So now we can talk about Alexander clearly does not listen to the Pretty Neat podcast, Rakic, because
no, he does not.
What did we say? Leg kick the shit out of Jiri Prochazka and you will knock him out. What did he do for the first round? He leg kicked the shit out of Jiri Prochazka and nearly knocked him out. And then the second round, stopped doing that and got his ass handed to him. Oh man, it bothered me so much because he was destroying Jiri Prochazka's leg, destroying it. Joe Rogan started talking about how bad Yuri's leg looked, and that's the weakness that Jiri has exposed to the world. And now I think Jiri Prochazka should fight Jamahal Hill next.
Hill?
That's where I'll
not wait it out.
No,
for a fight with Pereira.
Nah, let Pereira do whatever he wants, but I don't want to see that rematch yet. We've already seen Alex Pereira beat Jiri, so let's let him do something else.
All right. But, yeah, to your point, he landed 17 leg kicks in round number 1. He was basically 50-50 between head strikes and leg strikes.
Yep. That's how you beat Jiri.
He just didn't stick to the game plan.
Nope.
Now, he hadn't fought in a couple of years. I don't know how much that was contributing to the variation in game plan round by round.
But you figure certainly some.
Yeah.
You would, my assumption would be, if you have not had a fight, like a real fight, sanctioned fight, in like 2 years, you're going to see most of that ring rust right off the bat. But he didn't. He came out and he looked really good. His movement was good, leg strikes, his defense was good. He wasn't falling for the typical like misdirection that Jiri does. But there was some type of like mental block or just inability to commit to that same game plan. Maybe it's overconfidence, like, and how well he was doing in round 1. I don't know. But that's how Jiri gets inside, is he just
sneaks in.
He took a couple of shots. But to your point, Aaron, he didn't stick with the leg kicks. He threw twice as many strikes to the head than he did to the leg, where in round 1 it was like pretty much even split down the middle. And that seemingly allowed Jiri to get on the inside and do what he does, which is be chaotic and extremely violent.
And it worked.
Did we
learn anything about either of these guys?
That Rakic is probably not as good as I thought he was. And Jiri will continue to be unpredictable.
I think he is as good as you think he is.
I kind of do too.
If he sticks to the game plan.
Yeah. I think if you do that fight 100 times, I think Rakic wins at least 51 of them.
I do too.
If you win because you can stick to your game plan, but then you don't, does that mean you're good?
Maybe
not necessarily.
Maybe it's the fight IQ thing.
But the other side of that is Jiri is probably the most unpredictable fighter on the roster, and like in any weight. And I sometimes
It's
when a
fair.
guy's not playing by the rules, you kind of have to be like, you kind of can't plan for it in the way that how do you plan for John Jones?
But you can. You leg kick him and you catch him. Like he's
No, you can do that
unpredictable.
if you we've seen one guy do that to him.
No, we saw Glover do it. We saw
Yeah, okay.
Alex do it, and that is how you beat him. That he's still unpredictable and wild and will probably kill you with it, but that is the path. That is how you beat him.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. I just don't know how good either of these guys is. A lot of times when I watch a fight like this, it's like, how would this do against the champ? And let's be real, not well.
Yeah, well, we've already seen it,
Nope.
right, with Jiri. And
Yep.
with Rakic, we're talking about similar approaches, but the effectiveness is far different
Mm-hmm.
from what Alex has shown.
Wow.
And he just has the pedigree. He's got the pedigree with the kickboxing history.
Yep.
Now, I can't believe that they're not giving Keller this goal. Sorry, he hit it right when the buzzer rang. End of the first period.
And unbelievably, that closes out the prelims.
Yeah.
What a card. What a card.
What a fucking card. Then we get into the main event.
Mm-hmm.
No, sorry, the main card.
Yeah.
Opened up by Cody Brundage. Are you gonna make me say it, Dom? Are you gonna make
No,
me say
I'll
it?
take a back seat here. Go ahead.
You're gonna Bo's exactly who we thought he was. But, and I'm not saying the fight was boring. I'm not saying it was bad. I kind of agree with Bo that he was disappointing in that
Mhm.
he should have shown more. And maybe that's where my disappointment comes in, which is I don't know that we learned anything about Bo. I don't know, except that he can go 5 minutes.
Yeah, he can go outside the first round.
He can get outside the first
I
round.
think
That's
Bo is
about it.
hypercritical of himself.
And maybe he needs
And
to
I'm
work
not
on his
sure if
jokes.
that, well,
I don't agree with that part.
I
What
don't
were you
know if
saying,
it's
Aaron?
that. He literally can take down anybody whenever he wants. Like his burst in a takedown, double leg, single leg is extraordinary. Like
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
He seems to be willing to just stand and trade until he gets the shorter end of that exchange, and then he goes to the takedown. And then I don't know if he's forcing submissions, but he definitely has the ability to control position at any point in time.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see him throw more ground and pound, right? And be aggressive in that manner, because for me, if I'm Bo Nickal, I go, hey, even if I'm not in the best position ever, I can get it right back. So why not go the Kayla route and just fucking smash some guys with elbows? Why not?
So they're from the same camp,
This makes sense.
Bo and Kayla, right?
Okay.
Mike Brown is the A2T guy that trains
Mike
both of
Brown.
them, isn't he?
Yep.
The Immortal.
Mike.
So
No, that's Matt Brown.
Oh, my bad.
Mike
Okay.
Brown's the leprechaun.
Would
You can't get me, Lucky Charms.
Yeah.
before I just I was gonna say something pretty aggressive and sexual. I'm not going to. Is there anything either of you would like to add?
No, I'm ready to watch you swoon.
Oh,
Are you Twitter pated by Bo Nickal?
I don't. The reason he was critical of himself is what made him a 4-time NCAA champion, wrestling at the highest level. Wrestling, I've talked about this on this show before. Wrestling is the second most difficult collegiate sport. and it's not it's football, high level college football, very tough. Wrestling is second, and that is the list. Everything else, yeah. So there was a moment in the, I don't know if it was late first or early second, where Bo kind of squared up and he sort of juked his shoulders and he threw a shot at Brundage's head that did not land. And I believe it was in that moment where he realized, okay, that's not how I'm going to win this fight. And he just went to his thing that he can do that nobody can stop, which is his ground game.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you about the ground and pound, and I would imagine Mike Brown, who has forgotten way more about fighting than I will ever know, will be working on him with, amongst other things, of course. But Bo has a thing that I don't think anyone at 85, or if I'm being honest, probably 205, can stop. And it's that unreal, suffocating, oppressive, domineering wrestling.
Yeah. He's the middleweight Khabib.
And the submission part of his game, they don't do submissions in wrestling unless I'm gravely mistaken. So the fact that he landed an actual submission, which Charles fucking Oliveira couldn't do, not 10 minutes later, opening up the main card on the biggest fight in UFC history. This is not a disappointing performance. This is a guy who tried the exciting thing, realized it wasn't there, dug into his bag of tricks and was like, well, there's nothing you can do to stop this, so here it comes. Again, if you thought it was boring, it's because you're not a fight fan. I'm sorry. It's just the way it is. And Aaron, I know you, that's not a shot at you. I know you said it, I don't think it was boring. He can say he was disappointed by it.
Yeah.
That's why he's going to be champion for as long as he wants to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when he gets there. I'm curious what his next test will be.
Do you understand how long does Israel Adesanya last with Bo Nickal? Let's just be honest about this.
Well, maybe the third round. If he's
I was going to say, does he get out of the
rounds.
third? Does he get out of the third? Bo is not going to try to stand and strike with him. The only guy after this fight, the only guy I'm even remotely interested in, other than the title fight and seeing Bo fight, is fucking Robert Whittaker, who apparently is a world-class wrestler that we just never see him do it. I want to see a guy even remotely close to his wrestling pedigree. First of all, he's never going to fight Khamzat because Bo is not going to go to fucking the UAE and Khamzat can't come to America. That fight's never going to happen. Khamzat's, whatever the reason he can't come here, that has completely derailed his career, and I think we've seen the end of him, to be honest with you.
It's because he has an association with Kadyrov.
Short of whatever. Sorry, there was a fly right here. So, short of whatever fights they work out for him.
Yeah,
it is what it is, right?
I like Whittaker. I think that's fun.
That's an interesting fight. His next fight will probably be
loser of Strickland Costa.
No, because he even said in his post-fight interview that
they're building him.
Thinks he won't fight for the title until he's like 11-0, 12-0.
That's silly.
That's 6 fights.
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen.
Maybe
it's probably 2 or 3.
Let's say 8 or 9. Yeah, 8 or 9 or 0, and he's
8 or 9.
there.
No, yeah, total fights, not more.
Yeah, I mean, Cody Brundage is like 10-6 before this. He had 16 fights in the UFC before this.
I think Anthony Hernandez is interesting. I think Jack Hermansson's interesting. Maybe you give him Paul Craig or Kyle Barrio just to give him a ranked guy, Chris Curtis, something like that.
Well, Kyle Barrio is fighting Paul Craig next.
Sure, I'm just throwing names for like the range he should be in.
I still think Aaron's suggestion of Hermansson makes the most sense.
I love that fight. I love that. Yeah. I think that's a good wrap on that one. There you go. Then we go in to what some say is a robbery. I'm not on board with that. I think that this, after rewatching it, I think that Arman eked this out. I think it's a fair split. I think it's nice that it was a split.
I think it should have been a unanimous 2-1 for Tsarukyan.
Really?
Okay.
Which two?
I'd give
The
first and third.
the first and well,
The second round when he was in that.
I think second and third if you're gonna
That-
give him two.
Okay.
yeah, because the third with the Darce, like, I guess in retrospect, like, everybody's saying that wasn't actually that tight. The escape from the guillotine where he pulled guard.
That was that. Yeah,
That was the one where it's like, fuck, like that could have been over in the first round.
And probably should have been.
Yeah. Just like the Zhang Weili and Yan Xiaonan.
Oh, we're gonna get to that.
But I think with this you have I think you have Charlie Olive's rematch Justin Gaethje. I think that's the fight for both of them.
Man, but
because Olive's
Justin-
choked him out.
yeah, Gaethje's gonna be out for a while.
Yeah.
He should be. But Tsarukyan, does he get Islam after Dustin and Dustin?
Well, you
and
heard it.
Islam?
He turned down Islam. He was offered before Dustin 302,
Oh, wanted
and
more
he turned
time?
it down. He wanted to have a full camp.
Okay,
So then they offered it to Dustin.
there you go.
But I think what was happening
Um,
was they were holding off. They could have given Olives or Tsarukyan, I guess,
Or Gaethje.
or Gaethje
Mhm.
had he dispatched of Max in quick fashion, which that didn't fucking happen, and given him the next title shot, which would have made sense, right? Either of those scenarios would have made sense.
All of those could have made sense because Poirier beat BSD at 299, but was losing until he won.
Yes.
So waiting to see what happened with Gaethje, Oliveira, Tsarukyan was the right call by the UFC.
I agree.
Yeah.
And just basically in that situation, the person who has the biggest advantage is Makhachev because he knows, like, hey, I'm fighting around this time.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who the fuck it is. I'm fighting around this time. I'm going to be preparing for it. And everybody else has to really, in my opinion, has to specialize a game plan to try and deal with his unique skill set. Right.
It just goes to show that the UFC will keep you champ if they want you to be champ. Remember, they stripped fucking Francis like real quick.
They stripped
yeah.
Charles.
And they were like, Cyril and fucking Derek Lewis are gonna fight for the interim belt,
which I loved.
They'll strip guys if they want to strip you.
Yeah, they will.
But if you're Islam, you call your own shots, I guess. I don't know how I feel about that per se, but
I don't know.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Good fight. Good fucking fight, though.
It was a good fight.
The next one.
That was the best fight.
That was the best fight of the night.
It was the best fight. I don't think it was the best performance.
I also believe it was the best performance.
Of course you do.
I agree with both of these.
And that's fine.
And I mean, the only thing that tugged me away from Max was the thinking he was sick based on that interview. That was the only thing that put me away off of choosing Max.
You were on Max early. We'll give you that.
And I said Max was going to do it by peppering, and finish him at the end. I said the end of the fourth round. Of course, it went to the very last second, literally. And I never thought that Max Holloway was going to pull the let's stand in the center for the last 10 seconds and bang this out. And the way Max put it is, this is me giving you a chance. That's what he said. He's like, this is me giving you one last chance to beat me in this last 10 seconds. And that is bad motherfucker right there.
That's badass.
Like, that's what he said. He's like, you went through this with 25 minutes with me. I'm going to give you the last 10 seconds to try and sow some shit. And he did not sow anything.
But in that last round, he outlanded Gaethje 3-1.
Yep.
3-1.
He won every round except for maybe the fourth.
Yeah, the fourth they landed the same amount of strikes, which you know, I can see that either way. But to your point.
And they did not count the knockdown when Gaethje punched him and he fell on his butt. They did not
Which
count that
they
as a
should
knockdown.
have, though. They should have.
Counted it as a slip, I think.
Yeah.
Which means that Max Holloway still, by the numbers, has never been knocked down in the UFC.
So it begs the question. The only thing Aaron loves more than Max Holloway is an interim belt.
Yeah, this is true.
Why can't he beat Alexander Volkanovski?
Man, who
Maybe
knows?
it's just a matchup thing. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just kryptonite, man. It's just his kryptonite. And
Yeah.
that
Or maybe
Max,
he couldn't. He couldn't. Maybe he can now.
maybe this Max could. Maybe it's a new Max. He's got a new thing. You know, that
You
spinning
think he
kick
even goes
is...
back down, or you think he stays where he is?
He wants the Topuria fight.
Yep.
I think he should fight Topuria and
I
then
think he beats Topuria.
and then go up and fight Makhachev after he beats Poirier.
I would be real interested to see him with Makhachev after seeing that performance.
So would I. And I loved that he put away Gaethje with the same combo that Ilya put away Volkanovski with. Body, body, head. Exact same combo. Exact same punch. Except Max's was an overhand right and Ilya's was an overhand left. But
yeah.
I mean, do you guys all agree though that the spinning back kick at the end of the first round, like clearly that changed the whole complexion of the fight.
Yeah. Whole thing.
Beautiful. And we can't play the what if games, right? We're not here to play that. That's what happens in fights. But he made it happen. He made it happen, correct. And it was a technique that he went back to several times in the fight. But that had a huge implication on how the rest of that fight went.
Yep. Justin could not
and that overhand right,
nose.
That overhand right like landed here, right? So part of him like switching off could have just been his brain saying, that's a pain overload right there on the nose. We're going out.
And he punched that nose over and over and over and over again for the rest of the fight.
Yeah.
It was, I was telling my wife that Gaethje like just had his nose fixed within the last 2 years. He talked about how he couldn't breathe through his nose for like the last 6 years.
Yeah, deviated septum or whatever.
Yeah, just had it fixed, and Max fucking put it back where it was.
Gonna need another fix.
I agree with a lot of pundits that I've watched and heard after this fight that knockout, that clip is one of those clips that will live forever. Like Ngannou knocking out Overeem, Anderson Silva's front kick to Belfort, the Showtime kick, Anthony Pettis and Benson Henderson in Strikeforce. This is one of those knockouts. Oh, Connor Aldo. Yep.
The Masvidal knee.
O'Malley.
Yeah.
Aljo.
Yeah.
Like this is one of those knockouts where it's on every highlight reel for forever. And if he wasn't in the Hall of Fame already, he's going to be.
Max?
Yep. Does he
I have some issues with the UFC's Hall of Fame, but what was your question?
If and when do you think he actually defends? And a follow-up question, defends the BMF belt. Follow-up question, nobody has successfully defended the BMF belt thus far.
Yeah.
So I wonder if there's a curse behind that.
Well, this was the first defense of the belt, so it's 0 for 1. It's 0 for 1.
Fair, yes. Because
so I heard the latest rumor was that Topuria. Sorry, I'm from the Midwest apparently. Topuria said that if he was going to fight Holloway, he also wanted it to be for the BMF belt.
I think that's fair. If we're going to pretend the BMF belt's a real thing,
belt and belt, 2 belts on the line.
That would look good for photos and create a brand new double champ in a way. Good photos. I think
it's champ and title, but
yep, fair.
Yeah.
BMF is a title. It is not a championship status. Shit, man. I told you I was on the Box Alarm Trading podcast.
Yeah.
And shared all the same sentiments I did with you guys about how I wanted Max, but I think he's sick. I would choose Max if I didn't think he was sick. And somebody in the comments on that video said something about Aaron and Zach. You guys got to bet the house. Bet your house on Gaethje. You'll double, triple your money. You'll get rich. So I commented back after the fight that I'm glad I still have a house and Max has two.
Yeah. You also wouldn't have tripled your money because that's not how odds work. So
No.
Justin was a minus 170. So
Yep.
Don't ever talk about gambling again, whoever that commenter was, you fucking moron.
Feel free to comment on this video.
God damn, if he was a plus 350, that's literally what that would be. But okay, sure. God, I
could bet my
stand.
house on Gaethje and add the next gen home.
Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is? I sat down at a blackjack table at Haba Casino one time years ago. I played 2 hands and the other 4 people got up and walked away because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. If you think you could have tripled your house's value on a minus 170, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about.
Somebody needs to wheel you away to a room with a
Good
lot of pads.
Lord. And then when they got up and walked away, do you know what I looked at my wife and said? I have to actually learn how to play blackjack. I was so embarrassed.
You hit on 19 and the dealer showed a 4.
I don't know what I did wrong. I still don't remember. I was so embarrassed. The
goal is to get 21 no matter what.
Yeah, it's not to beat the dealer. It's to get 21. 18, hit me. 19.
Hit me.
20. Hit me.
And if you hit it and if you get an ace, guess what, Dom? And if you do hit on 20 and you get an ace, you get triple your money.
Do you? Are you telling me a 6 to 5 payout is triple? Are you telling me that minus 170?
Well, let's not.
Here's 30% winnings on your dollar. That's triple.
What else is there to say about Zhang Weili and Yan Xiaonan? Entertaining fight. What did you think?
Yeah, I guess entertaining. Maybe entertaining more so because of like the controversy at the end of the first round.
Yeah.
Where she definitely looked unconscious. And because Herzog like touched her, did that wake her back up? I don't know. But a fucking clear gap in skill, right?
Clear.
And Zhang Weili needs a test. I think I think the only answer is Tatiana Suarez. I could be swayed to say like she could also go up to 125 and face somebody Grasso, right? Alexa Grasso, who looks great, but she's got a date at the fucking towards the end of this year with Shevchenko.
I think they're gonna do Noche.
I think they are as well. I mean, it makes the most sense.
Yeah.
We got a Mexican champ. We're going to go ahead and like lay this out until September. Yeah. But
Noche
so Zhang, that means, okay, another fight.
You guys are talking about
115.
Valentina, right? They're coaching tough. So the timeline makes sense.
Yes. So take another fight at 115. Tatiana makes the most sense for Zhang. Take another fight. Yeah. Tatiana, that's the biggest challenge at 115 right now. Let's say hypothetically she runs through Tatiana. And Tatiana, the biggest question mark for her has been staying healthy. That's it. She has the pedigree. She has the dominance, the physicality. She's fighting at 115 because she's physically imposing at 115. But she has an injury history that just doesn't allow her to fight super consistently. So Zhang has added to her game. She's not just a striker now. She is dominant in the grappling department as well. And apparently has really great cardio, from what we've seen. Well, so let's just say hypothetically she runs through Tatiana. And run through maybe is a strong word. And all respect to Tatiana, I enjoy watching you fight. So I would be rooting for her just in terms of competition in the division. But if she gets through Tatiana, she has to go up to 125. She's got enough size where I think she could carry. If Rose can do it, right, Zhang could do it. That's like my stance. And fight the winner of Shevchenko Grasso, because that's going to be their third fight. They're not going to run that back again. Who else is at 125 that's really compelling?
Manon.
Oh, Manon.
Aaron
I guess
Blanchfield.
Manon. Blanchfield just lost Manon, but yeah, Manon. Okay.
I was literally just looking at who was ranked 2, 3, and 4. Did you guys hear though that they, because of Noche and Tatiana's injury, they did offer a fight for Zhang? Did you guys hear this?
No.
It might have been this morning. I was looking at, is it the Bloody Elbow free shout out? They said they offered it to Verna, and when she went to sign, she missed the contract and signed on the table, so the fight's not going to happen.
I've heard she's a nice lady.
No, it's because of her eye. She doesn't know.
I get it. I get
it. Okay. Hey, Ryan, I have a
we know
Disneyland
what you
thing
meant.
for you before we're done. Just remind me.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the only other thing that we already touched on with that fight was that controversy about the submission at the end of round 1.
Well, she was definitely out. And was it Mark Goddard?
Herzog.
Like,
just miss. I mean, come on, dude.
bit.
Come on. You have an obligation there.
He may have been assessing her balance. You know, maybe he's like, yeah, you can't fucking go anymore. I'm waving it off. It could have been.
I don't know. I think Zhang is really good. She's a good champion. She's a really good fighter. I think she beats Alexa Grasso for sure. Tatiana, I think, beats all of them. It's just her neck doesn't work, unfortunately, right?
Yep.
And I don't know, does she ever even get a shot at the belt? Probably, because do you think so?
Yeah.
They're not going to make her work her way back up.
Okay.
I think once says I'm ready, they press go.
I guess why not, right? Because what are they going to do? Give it to Lemos or Andrade? They tried with Verna, and this, she missed the paper.
So there you go.
The athletic commission won't accept it, is what I'm saying. So I don't even. There's no reason for me to pick on her like that. I just
no. There's a reason. Don't. She doesn't cross her T's and dot her I's. No. She dots her T's and crosses her I's.
Her lowercase J's. Yeah. Okay.
Main event.
Go ahead.
We all knew who Alex Pereira was. Come on.
He's that guy.
Yeah, I mean, I get where people were coming from. Like, Jamahal Hill should have the power. He's demonstrated it before.
No, that was dumb.
But looking back, that's dumb. Just
I said that last week on
Alex Pereira, man. He finds the rhythm and then he throws it off with the left and puts you out.
The best thing about the fight was when they were after it was over and Rogan and was it DC?
DC was there, yeah, but I don't remember him doing anything.
Who was doing the commentary with Rogan and Anik?
DC.
Yeah, okay. They were talking about how like they were pinpointing the moment where Pereira lost respect for Jamahal Hill and realized he had him. And I'm sorry, but waving off the referee after a groin kick is so fucking badass. Then slapping hands with Jamahal Hill. So there's no question that Hill was ready. He had him timed up. We see this in sports. We see this in basketball when a guy gets hot and they start running ISOs for him against whoever's trying to defend him. We see this with pitchers when they're not even calling pitches. They're just throwing the ball. We see this we saw this in the Super Bowl with Patrick Mahomes, right? When they showed Christian McCaffrey and he's like, well, fuck it.
Yeah.
We saw it with Tom Brady a million times. It was that level of domination, except that, and this is my only minor issue, other than how is Alex Pereira not the men's pound for pound top ranked fighter, and how is he fucking 4th? That's ludicrous.
That's wild. That is wild.
My only issue is light heavyweight is not the most competitive division. It's probably the least competitive division right now. I don't see another compelling fight for him at 205, unfortunately. I would love for Adesanya to try to go up to meet him there.
No.
He's inevitable. What do you do?
Yeah, he's the
He's
Thanos.
just too good. The black belt thing was a little weird, I guess.
Yeah.
That was a little bit weird. I didn't need that. But outside of that, Jamahal Hill was never in contention to win this fight. I got plus money on Pereira by knockout. Come on. I mean,
ridiculous.
That him by knockout should never be plus money against anyone.
Agreed. And if it is, bet your house on it.
If it is, you're triple your money at plus 110. That's how plus 110 works. I've given out a lot of bad gambling advice on this show, basically week over week. But that's you can take that to the bank. Plus 110 is triple your money.
Yeah. You could get a loan for business based on that.
You know what?
What's your collateral? Give you the loan. Oh, I'm gonna bet on Pereira by knockout at plus money anytime.
So I have this bet ticket here.
They just give you whatever you want.
I'm gonna give you the ticket bank, and you're gonna give me a small business loan.
Yep.
What's your small business? Oh, we make cookies. Yeah. I'm gonna take bets from Shohei Ohtani's interpreter to the tune of what now seems to be somewhere between $200 and $300 million. Like, what the fuck? Anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. He's what? I mean, now him versus Aspinall is intriguing.
I think that's interesting, and based on, and you just said before, the depth of light heavyweight just isn't that compelling anymore. Not in the title picture, so. Maybe let him be the first triple champ. Why not?
Aaron, you're gonna like this. Are your pants on?
Yeah.
Take them off.
Okay.
I think
we'll get another interim.
I think Tom beats him.
Oh, I thought you were just gonna say they should fight for an interim.
Well,
they would be. They would be fighting for an
interim, I guess. I think Tom is quite a bit bigger than him, and his ground game is far superior.
Yes.
Aspinall has no interest in striking with him.
1000%.
Alex Pereira doesn't have a fucking prayer of beating John Jones. The most interesting fight is Cyril Gane.
Oh. That's fun.
I do think there's a chance though. So they think Alex was about what, 235, 236 when the fight started?
They said 235.
235. Cyril's a real 265.
Oh yeah. He's 260.
Fucking huge. Aspinall is he goes about 255, right? 250.
He's been putting on weight though. That's been one of his strategies, is to get even bigger.
Yeah.
So he's hitting the limit right now.
Cyril is he 6'6"?
6'4"?
6'4"? Is he 76 inches? What's that?
6'4".
Okay, so 6'4". So I guess him and Pereira are about the same height. Cyril's just much bigger. Cyril is way more nimble too. That to me, I'd want to see that in kickboxing, not MMA.
Yeah. So they have Cyril listed at 6'4", 245.
Cyril's a big boy. Cyril's a big boy.
Yeah.
So those fights are interesting to me. I do think Aspinall and Jones beat him just on the ground game. Because that's just what it is. But if you're him, just hang out at 205. Just knock out guys they put in front of you. He's taking no damage. He's gonna get the PPV points and
is there any concern because he's 34 that he's?
I thought he was 36.
Maybe he is, but either way, he's in his prime. He is in his prime.
I don't. And unfortunately, he's 36. Left. He's 36. Like
he has years left on it still.
I agree. He feels like he has years left.
So
unfortunately, we don't know if he's in his prime. His prime may have been. Was he a glory fighter? What was he?
Either glory or it's just K1.
I'm pretty sure it was glory.
Aaron, did you see the Max Holloway floral hoodie that they released?
No.
It's pretty sick.
I want it.
It's pretty sick. I might have to send that to you.
Oh, that actually reminds me. There is a box in the mail.
Ooh.
One for each of you.
Okay.
the contents of which are designed to bring you together.
I don't know what that means.
That you will have to meet at some point
Whoa.
to share what is in each box.
Okay.
And there's no cards this time. Sorry.
All right.
Forgot to spice things up that way.
That's okay.
But yes, you will each be receiving a box. So you know. Probably not at the same time. I expect Dom's would be there probably by Monday, and Ryan's might be a little longer.
Okay, well, Ryan and I are going to go drink wine together soon. He doesn't know that, but we're going to do that. So,
yeah, you might be drinking something else together soon once the box is over.
Oh, is one okay? All right, is one whiskey and the other glasses to drink it out of?
No, that would have been smart. That would have been
All right.
creative. But one is whiskey. Yes.
Okay. What's the other one?
A surprise.
Is
the
it
other
wrong?
one is surprise.
Surprise.
Yeah, not telling you.
Okay, you don't have to.
Either way. Man, UFC 300, they fucking did it. They fucking did it.
They fucking did it.
You can tell by the way it was.
And 301 is gonna suck the horn.
Oh, when is the next good headlining fight? I guess 302 Makhachev.
302. Yeah, 302.
And is that International Fight Week, or is that
no, that's before. That's the start of June. That's when they actually are going to debut the new gloves, the new
literally June 1, yeah.
Oh yeah,
less eye pokey glove.
Chandler McGregor is Fight Week in Vegas.
Is that Fight Week? 303 is going to be Fight Week.
303,
yeah,
June 29th.
June 29th.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so it's like right before what I consider to be, Independence Day, International Fight Week. So,
which is when it used to be. I think they purposefully moved it to the last week of June.
Okay.
I think they did that on purpose. Or Canelo wants to fight in Vegas on the same day or some shit.
Do you guys have
he's
any
always Cinco de
predictions?
Mayo or Noche.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right.
He is. Do you guys have predictions?
I got Makhachev.
I was gonna say Connor and Chandler.
Oh, I like Chandler. No, hold on. Excuse me. I like Connor if he looks locked in during training. That's a big variable here.
Yeah.
But he's going to be so much bigger than Chandler.
It's going to be ridiculous. I like Connor by second round TKO.
Okay.
Unless his leg breaks again.
Yeah, but again, like Chandler hasn't displayed anything in the UFC that says like I'm going to try and just win by my strengths. He's here to make exciting fights.
Not an easy out, that Michael Chandler.
Not an easy out. I'm not here to say that's going to be a slam dunk, but
it's going to be awesome no matter what.
I am happy that Chandler is finally going to get to fucking fight this guy, displaying the most amount of patience in a fighter to sit on the shelf, and just wait for this to happen.
And he deserves, I'm not going to say he deserves the payday, because several other fighters have accomplished a lot more in the UFC than Chandler has since then, but he deserves the chance to punch Connor in the face for the disrespect during TUF. Which I mean made it a good show, made it entertaining, but Connor,
yeah, it's soap opera. Yeah, soap
like
opera
an
stuff.
Asshole. It's definitely soap opera. So
yeah, Contender Series is better. We all know it.
It's so much better. It's the preferred UFC alternate alternate programming.
I am really interested in going, Ryan, to one of Hendo's fight nights, the regional circuit out here. I don't know if you know this, but a couple of people from our jiu-jitsu gym were on one of the more recent cards.
Oh.
If you do go, let me know. I'll find a stream.
And I am more interested in those cards than I am in any of the UFC cards until I guess 302.
Yeah, the live component of it is what makes it compelling, right?
Let's see. Hendo's fight night. What are we
fun?
They just did one. May 18th is a Saturday. That's when they're doing it. I'm in town. HendoSports.com. Let's do some research here. These are free shout outs, Hendo.
Get him on the pod.
Come on the pod.
I'm for it.
It'd be a big get for us. I'll say that.
Yeah.
All right. Hendo's fight night. What? May 18th. Hendo's fight night. Wow. Oh, well, general admission's $50. That's not bad.
Yeah.
It goes from 6 to 10. If you want, we can go and get real drunk in Old Town before and take a lift or something over there.
Isn't that over by Guadalajara's?
It is. We could go to Guadalajara's.
Hey,
they have good food. Yeah, fuck
yeah, you do. I remember that about you.
They have great chips and salsa.
I was about to say the same thing.
Yes.
Killer margaritas, dude. Let's fucking do it.
It's a date.
It's a date.
Let's fucking do it.
I love that.
Yeah, okay. I'm in.
I like it. Let's
I don't even know how to hand out the award.
I think you got to go Max Holloway.
Yeah, it's Max. Like that's
Is it Max?
I
was going to give it to Dana White.
We gave it to him last week.
Oh yeah, we did. You're right.
Yeah. So Dana White got I think you're pretty neat, but I respect your distance award last week for putting 300 together. Max gets it for being the icing on the cake. Because he was.
Yeah, yep. He was the icing. He was the filling in the cake. He was everything that you really love about
it's
cake.
The manure. What does Dwight Schrute say? The salesman is the manure or something like that. And now I'm gonna plant my seed in you. Max Holloway. We think you're pretty neat, but we respect your distance 2024.
Yeah, we do.
Hey, you know why I love MMA so much? It's pretty neat. That is 100% true, but it's also because it brings us together. You know what? Violence really does bring people together. Yes, let's get back